Welcome to the podcast, Mike. It's great to have you on. Do you mind giving us a bit of a rundown on your backgrounds and what you guys do?
Hey Alex, nice to be here and thanks for having us. Look, my name is Mike Vasavada. I'm the founder and director of Mobiddiction, a 13-year-old company. And yeah, time does fly when you're having a good time. I started the business in 2011 as a sole trader, moved on to being a PTY Limited in 2012. But we're a technology innovation and consulting agency. But I guess the unique thing about us is we also have a platform that we manage for enterprise and government solutions for long-term programs.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So tell us about, I guess, the early stages of starting. Obviously started as sole trader and then, slowly pivoted, or quickly, should I say, into a proprietary limited company. So how did the early days look like? What did it start out as being?
Well, as I guess a lot of stories out there. It did start from a dining table in my house. Obviously, moved out of the garage, and during COVID, we moved also into one of these storage facilities, right, just to get work done. But look, having said that, it's been quite a journey, interesting one, the least to say. Started off with one employee, one table, three chairs, trying to do a merry-go-round when clients come in, borrowed offices from a friend at George Street. And as the journey goes, the lot of supporters that we've had in the business, the clients who trusted us initially and gave us their work. And having said that, my team and my team members who actually, you know, kept up the great work that we've been doing for such a long time. I guess that all adds up into what we are today at Mobiddiction.
Yeah, no, awesome, awesome. So, in terms of the growth so far, where is Mob Addiction today, and I guess what are your main focuses and priorities?
So I guess, just as a lot of companies will have to look at, moving into different phases, we started off, the days of the iPhone 3GS, right? A lot of people are probably not even born at that time, right? So iPhone 3GS was our first application we developed. We started off as a mobile specialist company. And a few years later, 2015 or so, we realized the potential of a mass digital adoption curve in Australia. So we started to build our platform at that stage. We did some amazing work with, the likes of Telstra, and we partnered with a lot of big companies, and we developed technology. And eventually, still having mobile apps as our core focus. Now the ecosystem of maintaining a business, digital ecosystem is what we started to do. So consulting, development, managing it, and also being a partner for someone who doesn't always have to understand technology, right? Because it's hard. We take it for granted many times that business owners and businesses understand technology, but that's not really the case. So I always say to my team, we code in any language, we speak any tech language, but we actually still a human at heart. And that's the magic of what we do here. So, yeah, and we've kept that ethos up.
Yeah, no, amazing. I like that. So, as far as I guess across the journey, obviously been in operation for quite a while now, and you've seen a lot of shifts over those times. I guess the early days and scaling up, obviously, you're a team of around about 17 at the moment. What did the early days look like when it came to hiring, getting those customers on board? Because obviously you've got some very big name customers. But how did it get to that point?
Look, not easy. It is, having an idea first and then actually following that right through. So it's not always about trying to go for the big guns and the big dollars. The big clients come because we've done a lot of small things well, right? So we've done a lot of little jobs, and at initial stages, the first through 3, 4 years, no job is a small job, no job is a big job, right? You got to have the right attitude. So get into the midst of things, fail quite a few times, but then learn from your mistakes and just move on. Now, sounds very much like I'm preaching technology, right? But that's reality, right? Not everything goes smooth. So you got to take it on your chin and move on to the next big one, learn from your mistakes and improve on them. Or I'd say learn from others' mistakes even better if you can, and try and actually move forward. So hiring, your question on hiring, very challenging. Obviously, you beg, borrow, steal resources from people, friends, phone a friend, or you hire team members. And initially, it's not always easy because I was doing a contracting job 2 days a week in Newcastle. So I would drive up and down from Sydney to Newcastle to earn my contracting money. So I put it back into the business, right? And I would then have a shared working space and try and actually split that money with people actually working the team. And so that's how slowly sort of, you grow your clients and your base. And that takes a few years, to set up.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. So in terms of the journey, and you've worked on some government backed platforms as well. So can you tell us a little bit about that? You've obviously had some good publicity when it comes to those. So how did you get
Yeah.
into those apps?
Yeah, so it's funny enough, the very first application, one of the major applications we did was the National Parks of New South Wales Wild About Wilds. And that became really popular. And it's still running today as Whale Watch program that we manage for the community free of cost, right? And then we got into, back in about 2014, we got into SharkSmart, and which has now become the world's largest sort of program for shark mitigation and, working with New South Wales government. So we still run that. So SharkSmart, and then became FishSmart. We've got another recreational, platform as well. So along the way, with the help and support of clients like New South Wales DPI, Department of Customer Service, working with Forestry Corporation, a lot of these use cases then became so robust that we still manage them, and sort of that led to our growth into being an enterprise and government organization that we are today.
Yeah, nice. So I guess when it comes to AI, and obviously it's a hot topic at the moment, as we've talked about. So I guess in terms of where you see AI today, you're obviously likely leveraging that within your business as well, to get out those outputs faster and improve. Where do you see AI moving, and I guess how are you using it today?
Look, it's a very controversial topic, especially when it comes to businesses, and everybody has their opinion about AI. But it's for sure something that's has already shown a lot of impact across a lot of businesses. Yes, some businesses positively, but some negatively as well. One side, people are talking about losing jobs, but on the other side, people are actually talking about improving processes, improving process efficiencies, the qualitative measures or analytics, and all the capability that wasn't available for you to access is now available through AI, right? So I guess it's two sides of a coin. Need to carefully evaluate, which AI tool or mechanic will work for your kind of business or business, customers, and then carefully sort of implement that, because if you don't implement it in the right way, AI, we've seen examples, where it's either too soon or you've implemented where it's probably not the right way to do it. So we work from a consultative approach first. We like to evaluate, the business, the process, and all that, and then do a thorough research, and then come back with recommendations for implementation. So, yeah, plenty of different ways you can actually use AI, basically.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And obviously, when it comes to people being obviously worried about losing their jobs, or even businesses that are going to go out, like for example, copywriters or anything that, data entry, for example. I mean, although that's been, on the down, going down for quite a while. Where do you see, I guess, the shift happening? Like, obviously, there's going to be jobs throughout history, right, where we've seen different technology come in, pre-internet, and then internet came in, and then certain jobs were eliminated. Where do you see AI, I guess, eliminating it, but then also creating opportunities?
So look, I guess with people who are actually just getting into the workforce, or are trying to finish up their existing education and going to be in the workforce soon, this is a very exciting time, because you've got those roles which existed in the past probably going to be changing a lot, right? So AI, look at like my daughter, primary school or high school actually now. She uses AI for her assessments. She does for research. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use AI, and I think that's going to be the same for the workforce. So yes, there are some jobs, going to be at risk, but as I said, there's plenty of other opportunity as well. So if a business is able to say, get rid of some redundant processes that were time and quality, and resource poor. You punch in AI into that, you get the output. At the same time, you could grow. So that means to say you have new roles created. There might be another innovation that you could apply in your own business. So, but one thing is for sure, businesses have to keep their, ears very close to the ground, and really look at AI sooner rather than later because it's here.
Yeah, no, for sure. Totally. And obviously, when it comes to people implementing AI, obviously the smaller companies can implement it, much faster, compared to bigger organizations where there's more security measures and especially those enterprise clients that you typically work with as well. So when it comes to developing those apps, are clients asking you to build a lot of AI applications, or I guess what's the trend that you're seeing?
So I think at this stage, most of the companies, for example, we work in the SMB where we're talking about the larger end of the SMB sector as well. We're talking about 50 million and 100 staff, right? Now, those companies are looking at processes, for example, for efficiencies or data analytics and all that stuff, right? So obviously, we're in the initial stages of implementing those kind of AI, almost like a testing phase, right? We never implement or never want to run everything through a whole business and then go, hang on, this didn't work out. So that's from the SMB sector, right? We've got various implementations in the SMB sector. We're talking about, some of these examples that I mentioned. We're talking about, encryption. We're talking about even software companies where we're doing automated, notes and quality checks and all that stuff as well, right? Education of team members, that becomes easier as well. Handover, knowledge transfers, all of that stuff. So that's internal process, right? But at the same side, from an enterprise or a large enterprise point of view, we are looking at evaluating, right? How can we actually work with the best smart tools out there? Because, the chat GPTs and the Geminis and, co-pilots and all that, everyone's evolving, right? And there's a lot of now noise out there, right, as to which is the best one. The Grok, release, Elon Musk, was shouting and screaming about it. So there's a lot of good things out there. But which one do you actually adapt to your process? Is quite the task at the moment.
Yeah, totally. And I guess how do you stay on top of that as well? Because there's a lot of noise in the market. Like there's a lot of changes. There's also things that are coming into the market, AI powered tools or AI powered apps, but some of them are being eliminated by one release of ChatGPT or Claude or Grok. So
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, how do you stay up to date and really focus on the right things?
And I think because of the very phase we're in at the moment, it's early days, right? You're going to find a lot of noise. You're going to find a lot of players entering into the market, like, trying to grab their market share or have you implement their tool, right? But ultimately, like many of the technologies out there will be a few prescribed methodologies and proven methodologies that will come out of it. And I guess that's the way to go. So whilst I recommend businesses not to wait and watch for everything to go, it might be too late, right? It's a matter of, maybe test and evaluate and then probably look at, what comes out. Just like everything, for us to get, high-speed broadband took us quite a few years to go away from, 2G, 3G, 4G, and even the 5G took a lot of years. So technology curve, right? One thing is to implement the availability of technology, right? Like your VHS to DVDs to Blu-rays to it being extinct, right? It takes a few years, but you got to look at AI adoption being really quick. So where do you meet AI in terms of the technology adoption and the technology curve? So you got to keep an eye, basically. Yeah. And I guess that keeps us in business.
No, for sure, for sure. You've got to stay ahead. So I guess when it comes to that, obviously a lot of businesses are thinking like, oh, well, what does my business look like in the next, even 1 year or but more, long term, 3 to 5 years or even 10 years. For Mobiddiction, I guess, what are the plans there? Is there anything that you're looking to pivot into? Are you looking to just keep going the way that you're going and keep building incredible apps, or what does that look like for you guys?
So, look, it's been quite a journey from a few years now that we've started to, and as one of my team member, Ian says, eating our own dog food. right? So we have a platform, right? A platform actually powers so many different applications out there, whether it's mobile or web as well. So we've started to put our own products out there. Like we've got an amazing mapping product called Mapiddiction out there released recently. We powered that with AI and wayfinding for customers in private venues, right? It's not been done before. A lot of the things that we're trying to do are new using AI. Then we've got patient VR. I've just got a headset to be sent off to a hospital, but we actually, from the past about two plus years, we're working with healthcare organizations, government basically, to bring in virtual reality into hospitals for patients. So that's another pivot, right? So we've got a platform, AI, we've got Mapiddiction, and we've got patient VR. So plenty of exciting things for us as we go through this learning curve as well ourselves.
Yeah, no, amazing. So patient VR, can you tell us a little bit more about that and how that works?
Yeah, so look, it started off during COVID. And a quick story is we were all in lockdown and we all got out of our lockdowns. But then, you think of patients, patients who actually are stuck in hospital beds, or you think about people who actually have, issues like dialysis or, touch wood if they have, cancer, sort of, if they have to go through a lot of visits to the hospitals, right? So it's not an easy thing to be there, right? It's emotionally draining. It's also not good from a health point, pain management point of view, and everything sort of creates the whole imbalance of your life. Your ecosystem is just suddenly rock bottom. So we created virtual reality initially as just an escape mechanism that you could escape the rooms off the four walls in the white hospital bed that you're sleeping on into actually some outdoor place. But then we started to add new features onto it. We started to add some health into it, some movement into it, some excitement, some word search, painting, relaxation techniques. And now we eventually now got a platform which is based on our platform where you're able to tailor these experiences for different use cases for hospital use. So I've got a few hospitals already using it and trialing it, and in fact, if I show you my, room that I'm sitting in, I've got VR headsets all across around me, and we're sending them up to hospitals. There's one right behind me there on the desk there, and we're just trying to send them to hospitals for patient use for different topics.
Oh, amazing, amazing. No, it's very good, and obviously, I guess when you're looking at what problems to solve, it's obviously a very, very good problem that you're solving, and obviously helping those patients there. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you're working on at the moment, and by the look of things, and staying focused. I guess how do you manage that? Personally, right, as a CEO and founder, how do you manage and know what to focus on? Because there's a lot of things that is dragging your attention and taking it away. So how do you really know what to focus on when it comes to leading and growing the company?
So look, one thing is, hire the right team members and mentor them so that they're delivering to their maximum potential, right? So that's always the one mantra I would say, because you look at some of my senior team members, they've been with me out of the 12 years or 13 years, they've been with me for 10 years, right? And we've all been through this journey together. So, I've got a very, very exciting, leads in my team who actually take a lot of ownership, right? So I work very closely with them. But at the same time, when it comes to personal time, I spend a lot of time on the business as well. So I don't de-alienate myself from client meetings or requests. I still want to have that small business feel where people actually feel free to ring me or text me, right? So I still do that. I still maintain the persona of the business that, hey, look, you know what? We're human. Pick up the phone and speak to us, right? There's a lot of scam out there. There's a lot of noise out there. So we being in Australia, we're still holding up that ethos of being, hey, you know what? Let's talk to Mike. Let this guy can help us out. And that's why we still run the very first program we started the business with. We still have the same. Our average client tenure is 9 years. So, you need to maintain, discipline when you're working. So have the right team members, have discipline in your work flow. And when you're enjoying what you do, you know what? It's a beautiful ride. Go enjoy it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So I guess looking back on your journey, Mike, have there been a few key points or lessons that you've learned across your journey that have really stood out the most for you?
Look, yes, I do present at, founder stories and, where people are actually trying to set up businesses and all that. And through my experience, what I've been through is one is do not overinvest in infrastructure before you're ready for it, right? Plan your cash flow ahead because, you got to look out for the dark days as well, right? So, don't get too over enthusiastic that, oh, hang on, I got, 50K in my bank account. I'm going to get this fancy office and start having drink parties and have two people staff. And I'm going to do that because it will be very quickly by the time it runs out, right? So you need to plan your cash flow properly. And the most important thing is have documentation, whether it's your own team members or whether it's actually contractual obligations to staff and all that. So you got to have proper documentation, whether it's, getting a contractor on board or whatever, you have to do in your organization. So have proper contracts drawn out and actually do the work properly, right? So have a good methodology to follow, right? Don't, I guess don't jump around because that doesn't help. That creates chaos, right? And I guess the third thing is be very mindful of what you promise clients, right? Be very mindful that because it's your name attached to it, it's your business name, it's your name attached to it. People look at that and go, hang on, do I get the best cupcakes here? Because that's what was promised, So I guess that's what you got to do. So, and I guess the last tip I'd say is, keep planning forward. There's no point in actually just doing what you wanted to do for today, but stick to your goals. It could be frustrating at times. As I said, you could probably go through a lot of challenges in your time, but you got to keep focused on your goal. What's your end goal?
Yeah, I love that, Mike. Mate, those that makes a lot of sense. So if people want to get in touch with you and find out a little bit more about what you do and how you can potentially help them, where can people find you?
Well, ChatGPT I was going to say, but hey, I don't know if I'm listed there. But hey, look, Google search, yes, you find me. But look, LinkedIn is probably the best way. Or if any of your audience wants to be, connected with me, LinkedIn number one, or a note on our website. Contact us. Will get me as well.
Amazing. Thanks for your time, Mike.
Love it. Thanks, Alex.